What have you liked about Calvin Austin, and how have you challenged him to improve his game?
He's been outstanding. I mean, that's a guy that has gone from here to here in the last 8 weeks. I mean, it's been really fun to watch. He's a worker. He's intentful. He's urgent. He wants to be coached, and you can see it because his game has done that. And I'm really, really excited for his season if he keeps practicing the way he's been practicing.
That is Zach Azzanni, Steelers receiver coach, talking about Calvin Austin III. Now, for many weeks now, all around the internet, all around YouTube, all around Facebook, doesn't matter where you're looking, everyone's talking about receiver number 2. I personally don't really care who is receiver number 2. Maybe that's the fan side of me. I'm not an analyst. I'm a bloke in my room talking Steelers, talking your team, my team, our Pittsburgh Steelers. I really don't care who receiver number 2 is. Now, in saying that, I do want to see some good productivity. I want to see a really good receiver there. I want to see someone who can run down the field and get and have excellent routes and catch the ball and be consistent, all those kind of things. I want to see a really good player at receiver number 2. But in saying that, there's a lot of talk around that kind of stuff where we have a lot of players on the roster. That's called Darrell Patterson. We have Freiermuth, Darnell Washington with running backs that can catch. We have Roman Wilson, the rookie. We have CA3 going into his 3rd year. But remember too, guys, remember as well that Matt Canada, when he came back, when he's coming out of injury, he didn't know what to do with him. He was trying to find reps for CA3. He couldn't figure out where to put him in the offense. Matt Canada's offense was piss poor, really bad. So anything we see, any kind of product we see on the field is already 10 times better than MC or Matt Canada's offense last year. Yes, of course, you need players to check in and buy in. You need better O-line play. You need better quarterback play. But we're going to see that with Wilson and Fields. And even Kyle Allen, you'll probably see a better quarterback play from him. So receiver 2 talk, I get a bit over it because I don't think we're missing that piece. I think players just need to step up into their roles and carve out a certain role for themselves. And maybe they're a receiver 3. Maybe there are different schemes in the field where they're taking advantage of certain players. George Pickens talked about it today that he could be playing more of a slot role in some sense where he's picking on linebackers or safeties. And, I think he said a quote. He was like, oh, it's once you get past those guys, it's right to the end zone. It's easy to score. So this whole idea around receiver number 2, I'm not too worried about it. I'm really not. As a fan perspective, I see all the guys on the roster. Whoever makes a team, I think will step up. And Calvin Austin has been. So in that video, I'll play it one more time, and then we're going to talk about it.
What have you liked about Calvin Austin, and how have you challenged him to improve his game?
He's been outstanding. I mean, that's a guy that has gone from here to here in the last 8 weeks. I mean, it's been really fun to watch. He's a worker. He's intentful. He's urgent. He wants to be.
Yeah, he's a worker. He's a worker. He's intentful. I've got it here. He's a worker. He's intentful. He's urgent. He wants to be coached, and you can see it. He's been outstanding. And I've seen those reports too all around Steeler Nation from guys like Alan Saunders and DK. I know he's on holidays, but guys like that go to the facility and they're allowed to be there and ask all the questions. Now, I wish I could be, because you know what? Even looking at that, even when I looked at this, I'll play it one more time to show you guys. But look how nice the day looks.
What have you liked about Calvin Austin?
It looks fantastic. It would be so much fun to be on the field and film these guys, watch these guys play, interview them, all that kind of stuff. So, from my perspective, being a fan, I'm a little bit jealous about that. I would love to be a fly on the wall, or in the stands, or in UPMC, Rooney Complex. And that's what we have to go with. We need to go with the reporters telling us what they're seeing. And yes, they can't tell us everything. They can't go through all the big plays and whatnot. You can't expose everything about the offense or the defense. But it would be a lot of fun. But hearing Azzanni say that, receivers coach, saying he went from here to here, he stepped up in 8 weeks. And all the other reporters around Steeler Nation has been talking about that. So I'm not too worried about this receiver number 2 because he's a worker, he's intentful, he's urgent, and he wants to be coach. Let me know in the comments below, guys, what you think. I think there's going to be a big step up for Calvin Austin III this year, going into his 2nd year on the field, but 3rd year in the league. He's been answering all the right questions. He wants to win a Super Bowl. I think he was talking about or it might have been Warren, but he was talking about like we don't just want to have 8 and 9 seasons. We want to, be the best that we can be, and then go win a championship. So he's doing all the right things in interviews and on the field. From what I've been seeing in highlights, because all I can see is highlights. Same as a lot of you guys out there. What we really only get access to some highlights and opinions of the reporters. Then we needed to form our own opinion. But right now, my view of it is the players are out there working hard. They're going to have a month off, come back for the 25th of July. They start training camp, and everyone's going to go out to Latrobe. Fans are invited certain days, and you build that camaraderie. You build up that brotherhood of steel, and then you try and use this momentum going into the season and get a victory week 1 versus the Falcons, right? I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty happy with Calvin Austin. I think he could carve out his role. Maybe he won't be receiver number 2, but possibly he could be a guy that carves a role out for this team. Does he play kickoff return? Does he play punt return? Does he play in the slot? Does he play on the outside speedster? Can you get him a mismatch on a corner, a mismatch on a linebacker, a mismatch on a safety? Calvin Austin is going to do those kind of things where Russell Wilson's going to throw the ball 70 yards in the air. This bloke's going to run straight line speed like he did versus the Raiders, 4.4 speed, whatever it may be, catch the ball, get a TD. So can he not step up to be receiver number 2? I feel like, in my opinion, as I slow down and start to end the episode, I feel like that receiver number 2 is just overlooked. It's overrated. It's just a buzzword that everyone's using to be, we need receiver number 2. There are guys on the roster that can carve out roles. And one of those guys or players is CA3 to carve out a role for himself, to go and get himself touches and become a factor and a playmaker for this team. That's it. I'll see you later.
One after the next 2, is he still aggressive?
Yeah, what do they call him? The con artist? I like that.